Most people buying a Mitsubishi SUV right now are picking the wrong one, and honestly, it's not their fault. Nobody breaks it down properly. So today we're doing exactly that. 6 Mitsubishi SUV models, ranked from worst to best, based on 3 things that actually matter when you're owning a car for years: reliability, cost of ownership, and safety. And here's something I'll tell you up front. Even the one at the bottom of this list is not a bad car. We're comparing them against each other. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one fits your situation best. The number 1 might genuinely catch you off guard. Stay with me. Number 6, Mitsubishi ASX. Starting at the bottom, the Mitsubishi ASX, also sold as the Outlander Sport in many markets. This is not a terrible car. If you already own one, you're not driving something unreliable. It lands at number 6 because compared to everything else on this list, it's showing its age in a way that's hard to ignore. The ASX has decent reliability, especially on older models. It won't send you to the shop every few months, and basic maintenance is affordable. But the platform it runs on is over a decade old at this point, and that gap becomes very obvious when you put it next to something like the Eclipse Cross or the X-Force. Mitsubishi hasn't done a full ground-up redesign on this one, and you feel it. The driving experience, the interior layout, the tech, it all reflects a car that was designed in a different era. On cost, the ASX is cheap to run day to day. It's small, fuel efficient, and service bills are low. The problem is resale value. It doesn't hold its value well in most markets, and depending on where you live, parts availability can be hit or miss on older trims. So while the sticker price looks attractive up front, the long-term ownership picture is less compelling than it first appears. Safety is where the ASX really falls behind. Older versions don't come with the automatic emergency braking or lane keep assist you'd now expect even in entry-level vehicles. In 2025, that's a real weakness. Crash test results on older ASX generations have been mixed, depending on the market, and the standard safety package just doesn't compare to what newer models are offering right out of the box. The newer cars on this list come with far more advanced safety tech as standard, and for a lot of buyers, especially families, that's a deciding factor. Bottom line on the ASX: practical, affordable, gets the job done. But it's the oldest and least equipped car on this list, and that's why it sits at number 6. Number 5, Mitsubishi X-Force. If you haven't seen this one yet, it only launched in 2023. It's a subcompact crossover that's smaller than the Outlander, but brings a much fresher, more modern package than the ASX. And honestly, when you see it in person, it doesn't feel like a budget car. The styling is sharp, the interior feels current, and it's clearly built with a younger buyer in mind. Here's the thing with the X-Force though, it's new. And new is both exciting and a little risky. The X-Force shares its platform with the older Outlander Sport, so the mechanical foundation underneath it is proven. That's a good sign. Mitsubishi isn't experimenting with something untested under the hood. But because it's only been on road since 2023, there's simply no long-term real-world reliability data yet. A car might be great out of the factory, but you don't really know that for certain until it's been through 5 or 6 years of actual ownership, different climates, different road conditions, and different kinds of drivers pushing it in different ways. That uncertainty is exactly why it's at number 5 and not higher. It has the potential to move up this ranking in a few years, but right now, we're going off what we know, not what we hope. Running costs are low. As a small crossover, it's efficient on fuel, and routine servicing is affordable. One thing to watch is the CVT, the continuously variable transmission. If you're not sure what that is, it's basically a type of automatic gearbox that uses a belt system instead of fixed gears. It gives you smooth acceleration and better fuel economy, which is great, but CVTs can be sensitive if you regularly push the car hard, tow things beyond its rated capacity, or skip your scheduled oil changes and fluid services. None of that is unique to the X-Force. It applies to most CVT-equipped cars. Just keep up with the maintenance schedule and you'll be fine. Ignore it. And it gets expensive fast. Safety is strong. The X-Force earned a 5-star Asian NCAP safety rating, which is a big deal for a car in this price range. A lot of buyers assume that smaller and cheaper means less safe, and that's just not true here. It comes with active yaw control, which helps keep the car stable when you're cornering or changing lanes quickly. Plus modern driver assistance features like forward collision warning and lane departure alerts. It genuinely looks and feels like a current generation vehicle, which is a significant step up from the ASX in every way that matters day to day. Bottom line, great small SUV, 5-star safety score, modern tech, low running costs. The only thing holding it back is time. Give it a few more years on the road and we'll have a much clearer picture of where it really belongs on this list. Real quick before we get to the top 4, if you're a Mitsubishi owner and you want to keep your car running well for as long as possible, hit subscribe. We post regular videos on Mitsubishi car care, maintenance tips, common issues, how to spot problems before they get expensive. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's get back to the ranking. Number 4, Mitsubishi Destinator. If you've got a family, this is one you really want to pay attention to. Like the X-Force, the Destinator is new, which is the main reason it's sitting at number 4 rather than higher. We haven't seen enough real-world years of ownership to fully confirm long-term reliability, but what it's offering right now is genuinely impressive. On reliability, the Destinator runs proven Mitsubishi turbo engines and CVT setups on existing hardware, so even though the car itself is new, the mechanical bits underneath aren't a mystery. That's reassuring. We just need time to see how it holds up across years of real ownership before placing it higher on this list. Cost of ownership is where the Destinator really stands out. You're getting a 3-row, 7-seat SUV priced as a value vehicle. That's a lot of car for the money. Maintenance costs are expected to stay low, and if Mitsubishi's track record with similar platforms tells us anything, servicing should be affordable and predictable. Safety is excellent. The Destinator earned a 5-star Asian NCAP rating, and the standard safety kit is comprehensive, adaptive cruise control, automatic high beams, blind spot warning, forward collision mitigation, and rear cross traffic alert. For a family car at this price, that level of standard safety tech is hard to beat. The Destinator beats the X-Force because you're getting 3 rows, a bigger safety package, and a better value proposition for families. If space, safety, and budget are your top priorities, this car is hard to ignore. Number 3, Mitsubishi Montero Sport. This is the one for people who actually use their cars hard. If you need a body-on-frame SUV that handles rough roads, heavy loads, towing, and long hauls over many years, the Montero Sport is the only car on this list built to do that. Reliability here is genuinely strong, especially for demanding use. Independent reviews and long-term owner communities consistently highlight it as a durable, robust machine. You'll find plenty of Montero Sports on the road with very high mileage still running well, and that track record matters more than any short-term test result. Now, here's the honest part. The Montero Sport is more expensive to own than the smaller cars on this list. It's bigger, heavier, and more complex, especially in 4WD form. Fuel economy isn't great. Servicing costs more. Insurance runs higher. This is just the reality of owning a capable, heavy-duty SUV. You get more machine, and you pay for it. Safety is solid. The Montero Sport is a physically strong vehicle with a good standard safety kit. One thing to be aware of, safety scores vary by market and model year, so always check the specific year before buying, especially on used examples. The Montero Sport sits at number 3 because of its proven long-term durability. It beats the Destinator because it has real years of ownership data behind it, but the higher running costs and lower fuel efficiency are what keep it out of the top 2. Number 2, Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. Honestly, for a lot of people watching this might actually be the smarter buy over the number 1 spot, depending on how you use your car. So before you scroll ahead to see who takes the top spot, hear this one out, because for the right buyer, the Eclipse Cross is genuinely the better choice. Reliability is strong. The Eclipse Cross has a solid real-world track record with no major widespread issues reported across multiple model years. Owners consistently report it holds up well over time, and independent reviews rate it highly for its price range. What's particularly encouraging is that the reliability holds across different markets. This isn't a car that performs well in one country and falls apart in another. The data is consistent, and for a mid-size crossover that gets used as a daily driver, that kind of consistent, unglamorous dependability is exactly what you want. It's not the most exciting thing to say about a car, but after 5 years of ownership, you'll be glad that's the story. Cost of ownership is the Eclipse Cross's biggest strength, and it's worth spending a moment on what that actually looks like in practice. It's smaller and lighter than the Outlander, so day-to-day running costs are noticeably lower. Better fuel economy, lower service bills, cheaper insurance in most markets. But let's put some real context around that. If you're driving this car 5 days a week, every week, for the next 4 or 5 years, those small savings per tank, per service, per insurance renewal start to add up to something meaningful. We're potentially talking thousands of dollars over a full ownership cycle, compared to running a larger SUV. If you're comparing it directly to the Montero Sport, The difference is even more stark. The Eclipse Cross is significantly cheaper to run for anyone who doesn't need serious off-road capability or heavy towing. For the vast majority of people who buy SUVs and never actually take them off-road, the Eclipse Cross makes a compelling financial argument that's hard to dismiss. On safety, the 2024 Eclipse Cross received a 5-star overall rating from NGSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, which is the highest possible score for passenger protection and accident prevention in the US market. That's not a minor achievement. A lot of cars in this segment don't hit that mark. Standard trims come equipped with forward collision mitigation, lane change assist, blind spot warning, and automatic high beams, and these aren't watered-down versions of those features either. They work, they're responsive, and owners consistently report them as genuinely useful rather than just boxes ticked on a spec sheet. If you've never driven a car with automatic emergency braking before, the first time it nudges the brakes for you in traffic, you'll understand why safety ratings actually matter. There's one more thing worth mentioning that doesn't show up in the reliability scores or the safety ratings, and that's how the Eclipse Cross feels to live with. It's a comfortable size. It's easy to park. It doesn't feel like you're operating a large vehicle in a city or a tight car park. For buyers who spend a lot of time in urban environments, that practicality is a daily quality of life thing that bigger SUVs just can't replicate. The Outlander is excellent. We'll get to that. But it is a bigger car, and not everyone needs or wants that. For most everyday buyers, the Eclipse Cross has everything you actually need. Reliable, safe, modern, affordable to run, and comfortable to live with day to day. The only reason it's not number one is because the Outlander goes one step further across every single category, and we'll break down exactly what that means right now. Number 1, Mitsubishi Outlander. And if you predicted this before we even got here, you might not be surprised. But the reason it takes the top spot isn't just because it's the most popular Mitsubishi SUV. It's because when you line up the actual data, reliability scores, repair costs, safety ratings, nothing on this list touches it. Let's start with reliability. RepairPal gives the Outlander a 4.0 out of 5.0 reliability rating, ranking it 8th out of 26 compact SUVs. That's above average, and it's based on real repair data from real owners tracked over multiple years, not estimates or press material. JD Power gave the 2024 Outlander a score of 82 out of 100 in their quality and reliability category, placing it solidly in their great tier. That's a score that's been improving year over year. The previous model sat at 77, and owner communities back this up. Many Outlander owners report reaching 200,000 miles without major mechanical failures when the car is properly maintained. That puts it in the same league as the Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4 for long-term dependability. On cost of ownership, the average annual repair bill for an Outlander is around $519. To put that in context, the average for compact SUVs is $521. And the all-vehicle average is $652. You're spending less to maintain it than most of the cars it competes against, and Mitsubishi backs it with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, still one of the best factory warranties available anywhere in the industry. That's not a marketing line. That's the manufacturer putting real money behind the reliability of their product. Safety is where it all comes together. Recent Outlanders have earned Top Safety Pick recognition, and the 2024 model was awarded Top Safety Pick Plus, which is the highest designation the EASE gives. The 2023 model received good ratings across all major crash test categories. Higher trims come loaded with adaptive cruise control, forward collision warning with pedestrian detection, lane departure alert, and automatic high beams. There have been a few minor recalls in recent years, things like rear camera software and liftgate issues, but these are resolved through free dealer updates. They're the kind of small things that get caught and fixed, not structural problems worth worrying about. The Outlander wins because it's the best complete package on this list. Proven long-term reliability, below-average repair costs, the best factory warranty in the segment, and top-tier safety scores. It beats the Eclipse Cross because it has more data behind it, a stronger reliability track record, and it's built specifically for long-term family ownership. So there you have it, 6 Mitsubishi SUVs, ranked from worst to best on reliability, ownership cost, and safety. Here's the thing though, whichever one you drive, the single biggest factor in how long it lasts and how cheap it stays to run is maintenance. Even the most reliable car in the world will start costing you if you ignore it. That's what this channel is here for, helping you take care of your Mitsubishi the right way. If this video was useful, drop a like, and if you want to keep your Mitsubishi running its best, you know where to find us. See you in the next one.